Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's reported that Friday night, September 16th, 2016, someone with a gun walked up to a police cruiser, fired into it, injured the officer, ran off, and then went on a shooting spree, shooting 2 officers and 6 civilians, with one 25-year-old woman being killed. This entire story is pure bullshit, just like the very similar story that came out of Philadelphia in January of this year. And in that story, it was the same officer, Richard Ross, telling the details. What I'm going to show you in this video is that this story is 100% pure contrived bullshit. And I'm going to show you what it has to do with Hillary Clinton. There's a weird Hillary Clinton narrative here that is not an accident. If you're new to my channel, I'm showing how every single day, all the mainstream media reports on is bogus propaganda bullshit, and in all their made-up stories, they drop clues for other events to come. Hillary Clinton just recently had her Philadelphia convention for the Democratic convention, started July 25th. We're going to talk about what that event has to do with this shooting. So look at here the way CNN reports. 1 dead, 5 injured, including 2 officers in Philadelphia attack. Philadelphia, the original capital of this nation, in Pennsylvania. 152. That's just like the gematria of Pennsylvania. That's also the name of the street that the White House is on. The original capital in Philadelphia, the temporary capital in New York, until Washington, D.C. was completed. Now in Washington, D.C., there's the White House on Pennsylvania. The headline says, rampage shooter hated police. In gematria, that phrase sums to 133, just like Federal Bureau of Investigation, just like government, also just like White House. White House equals 133. Should have wrote that up here because there's a major parallel to Hillary Clinton and what's going on in this presidential election, which is all propaganda rigged by the numbers. Nobody in this country supports Hillary Clinton. A lot of morons support Donald Trump. The whole thing's a big joke on all of us. So check this out. The date of this shooting, late September 16th, that's the day that leaves 106 days left in the year. And the word prophecy equals 106, the big way, the small way, 52. The female officer who was shot on 52nd Street. 52nd Street on the day that leaves 106 days left in the year. Philadelphia, named from the book of Revelation, the book of prophecy. Oh, by the way, the word woman equals 66. Revelation's the 66th book of the Bible where Philadelphia gets its name from. From the day Hillary began the Democratic convention to the election is 106 days. Think about it. Doing it in the city of prophecy 106 days before the election. Everything in this nation is done by the numbers. The first state ever established, Delaware, was established on a date with 106 numerology, just like the Zionist state of Israel was established on a date with 106 numerology. It's because the same people who created the United States of America are the same people who created Israel, and that's the Zionist Jews. This has always been a Masonic Jewish nation, part of a Masonic Jewish world order agenda. So let's read a little bit of CNN's reporting. A gunman with a reported hatred of law enforcement went on a deadly tear late Friday in Philadelphia. So right away, they're trying to make it seem like it's bad to have hatred for law enforcement. Everybody should hate the police in this country. The police are not here for us. They're here to protect the tyrants. Have you ever seen a protest against the tyrants? Who do the police line up for? They line up to protect the tyrants. They line up like they're the military against the people. And what do police do? Give us tickets that we don't need? Police aren't here for our safety. If you've ever needed the police in a bad situation, they'll be slow to show up. They won't do jack shit. Listen to the voice of someone who had their house burglarized by the police for exposing what a fraud they are. Nothing you can do because they're the authority until the day enough of us wake up and we become the authority. And that's the way it needs to be. Too many people, too easily ruled over. Nation of cowards and believers. So anyway, where were we? The rampage left a 25-year-old woman. Hillary's campaign began on the 25th day of July, the 7th month. Left a 25-year-old woman dead after she was shot 7 times. Interesting. She was shot 7 times. She was 25, just like the date Hillary's convention began. And 25 in numerology is 2 plus 5 equals 7, 7, 7. Talk more about that number in regards to the police. Don't already forget the July 7th Dallas police shooting hoax. 2 police officers and 3 others, 2 men and a woman, also were wounded. Well, now they're saying 4 others and 2 police. Their numbers are always switching up. I just saw this on the news. Right now we have a lot of questions. This is completely a bizarre situation. Doesn't sound like he can speak very well. Philadelphia Police Commissioner Richard Ross Jr. said at a press conference Saturday. And Richard Ross is another one of these hired spokesperson to go lie to the media on behalf of the police department. Someone who seriously, you know what, I'll just stop right there. We all know what needs to happen to the Richard Rosses of the world when enough of us wake up. Ross said police found a rambling note at the scene that said the gunman hated police and probation officers, and it mentions a particular probation officer. Obviously, we're trying to track that individual down to make sure they are okay first and foremost, he said. Notice the rampage began on this date, September 16th, 2016 at 11:20. That's a date with 61 numerology. They're using the word rampage. Rampage has a gematria of 61. Just like the date of the incident. Again, she was 25 years old. 25 has numerology of 7. 7, shot 7 times, 7. Police officer 77, police department 77. If anyone really got shot in Philadelphia, what happened is a police officer all dressed in black went out and did a false flag. And there's plenty of scum in police departments who'd probably go out and gladly shoot civilians if they get paid some extra money to participate in some propaganda. The worst people I've ever met in this world are all police officers. Police, the scum of this earth. They're saying this is a massacre. Not really, but massacre has the gematria of 25, like the age of the woman. Here's that gematria for Richard Ross, just like police. Almost all these stories, propaganda in the media, the police officer's name sums to the same thing as police. They said he's a junior. Junior has that gematria 33, like police. Like Freemasonry. Masonry equals 33. Secrecy 33. Order 33. Federal 33. Clinton 33. Seems to be a tribute story for Hillary Clinton. The shooting occurred about 11:20 p.m. Friday when a man approached a police car and fired through the window at Sergeant Sylvia Young, who was sitting in her cruiser at 52nd and Sansom Streets in West Philadelphia, police said. You know, it's just such a mocking of us. This is the exact same story delivered by the same person from January of this year. No words were exchanged according to Ross. Young, a 19-year veteran of the force, was the word chaos equals 19. The Freemasons believe in order out of chaos. They purposefully create chaos to create new laws and agenda. The entire way this nation's been governed all this time. Young was struck in her left arm and her protective vest. She is in stable condition at a hospital, police said. Ross said she is talking and she is going to be okay. Officers nearby heard the gunfire and responded, chasing down the man as he fled. So she was a sergeant. Sergeant, a word with that 44 gematria, just like shooting, like officer, like sheriff, like trooper, like military, like department. Should have put that up there. The shooting time of 11:20. That number starts with 112. That's the alt dialing code for 911. If you press 112 on your phone, you'll be connected to 911. Again, 52nd Street, the word prophecy, the small way. Sansom Street, as they wrote it, happened on 52nd and Sansom Street. Sansom Street has gematria 42, like Freemason, like Zionism. It's the Freemasons who run the police, who run this nation. The officer shot Sylvia Sung has the same gematria as Pennsylvania. Another Pennsylvania tribute. Shooting, with the S exception, also sums to 53. Victim of a shooting. The big way, the way they spelled it, Sergeant Sylvia Young, 216. The number 666 is the number for prophecy in Jewish gematria. The number 666 is used in Revelation, the book of prophecy. If you multiply 6 times 6 times 6, it sums to 216. The current president, Barack equals 216 in Jewish gematria. Supposedly his birthday's August 4th, the 216th day of the year. He has parallels to Lincoln. Lincoln had an assassination attempt on him 216 weeks before he was actually shot in Ford's Theater, which Obama reopened on the 42nd day of the year, February 11th, 2009, a date that also had 42 numerology. When you write out 42 as a word, it sums to 142. President Obama equals 142. 42, a number stamped all over black men throughout history. Lincoln shot by an actor in the theater? Like I said, the Freemasons have been running the show all this time by the numbers with propaganda, lies, tyranny. Convenient way for a president who was hated to escape. You know, he's blamed for the Civil War, just like Adolf Hitler was blamed for World War II. Vanished in April at age 56, just like Lincoln. April equals 56. Lincoln and Hitler blamed for wars, both dead in April at age 56. It's all a joke. So anyway, Philadelphia, they have this Jewish mayor. Supposedly his name's Tom Wolfe. I'm sure his real name's something very Jewish. Tom Wolfe, you know, Pennsylvania, he's been synced up with a lot of the shooting hoaxes out of that state this year. They had the backyard barbecue shootout hoax, and I forget what else. There's been so many of them. But from today until his birthday is 62 days. They're reporting on the news right now that 6 people were shot and 2 officers. 6-2. Mason 62, Torah 62, that's the Jewish holy book. It's the Jewish Zionist Freemasons running the show by the numbers, gematria, the Jewish practice. He's the 47th mayor of Philadelphia, agent 47, authority 47, framework 47, foundation 47, the Zionist nation of Israel established in the year 47 with a 33-member vote. What's this nation's birthday? 4/7, July 4th. Not a coincidence. Jewish equals 74, Masonic 74. From the last incident until today is 252 days later. If you count the end date, it's also 253 days. And I've been documenting this strange pattern with 2, 3s, and 5s all year. 252 also reminds me of 2552, the numbers in the story, 52nd Street. You know, 25-year-old. Just another joke, truth seeker, just like this was a joke. Go back and watch the news footage of this story. It's so stupid. This guy runs up to the window, unloads all these rounds, runs away, and then the officer comes right out of the car. And they said he shot 10 times into the window. How can you shoot 10 times into the window and not hit the officer? By the way, if you write out 10, it has gematria of 39. Philadelphia is on the 39th parallel. The Zionist Jews go by the 39 books in the Old Testament, where the 10 commandments come from. If you write out 10, it sums to 39. This numbers and words thing, it's deep. And it comes from the spiritual texts, like the name Philadelphia. Here's also this headline today, why Democrats are anxious, 52 days left. The headline up here sums to 101, like Philadelphia. See, the whole story, the whole media, it's just a web of stories by the numbers. All contrived bullshit. We're living out a planned narrative. These news stories, they were drawn up a long time ago. Hillary Clinton, these types of people, they're born actor agents made to fit the part. They play their part in the grand deception. All right, truth seeker, until next encore. From the date the convention began until the date of the shooting was 53 days, just like the name gematria of the female officer, just like Pennsylvania. It's not hard to see what's going on.